We are now live. Okay, it says we are live. Are you able to see it, Alondra?
I thought I get a notification right away.
Oh my gosh, I got a notification. Wait, let me just see.
Yeah, I see it.
I can't see if anyone. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is so cool. Okay, let me see how you can.
I don't see it yet.
Okay, it started. Hello, everybody. We are just about to start our introduction into the garden. Sent a request. Oh. Hi, Dr. Biznillion.
You let me in.
Oh,
Hi.
yeah. Hello.
Okay, we got it.
It looks great. The garden.
Yes, this is
Hello.
exciting.
Nice
We're
to
excited to
see
be the
you.
first Live in the Wellness Garden here at the Maryland Magrum Center. My name is Andreas George. I'm your garden coordinator right here. And we're going to give you a quick garden tour to show you what's growing on after introducing ourselves. Brianna, would you like to come into the frame?
Oh, yes. Yes. Hello. I am a student leader at the Maryland Magrum Center, and I also help Andreas with maintaining the garden. So we're excited about this. We're going to show you guys what's currently growing at the garden and give you guys a little tour. Okay.
All right, would you like to take the camera and follow me as I
Yes,
go around?
I will do
All right,
that.
so here's our first bed. Right here we have a mix of cauliflower, broccoli, and nasturtiums. So nasturtiums are a fantastic companion plant to grow. They will attract away certain pest insects and repel other ones. So fantastic to grow in your garden. Great for helping to keep pests off of your plants without having to use any kinds of pesticides. Let's move on. So we got some strawberries right here, some sorrel. We're kind of experiencing the winter blues right now. A lot of the plants aren't growing very much. They're kind of dormant, like the mint, for example.
Yes.
Our chocolate mint and our sweet mint, not much growth. But the peas are pretty much the exception. Peas are a fantastic crop to grow during cooler weather. They grow very vigorously and they can produce pretty heavily. So great to grow. Lemon verbena,
Yes.
dormant right now. These are our systems, our research systems for the antioxidant research. Take care of those as well. Let's see what else. We've already got some sunflowers coming up. That's what these are. They tend to come up on their own accord here. When plants that you'd like to grow in your garden come up by themselves at the beginning of the season, they're called volunteers. And we like to let the volunteers grow sometimes. So here's our Mediterranean herb bed right here. Over here we are doing some more peas, along with some carrots, and these are turnips, right, Brianna? You planted.
Yes, planted turnips, carrots. We also have more peas growing along the side.
Yep. And poppies right here as well, California poppies.
Yes, it's good to put flowers if you're
Absolutely.
gardening at home to encourage more pollinators. It's important to have flowers around the bed.
We just got some purple Brussels sprouts in.
Yes.
Chamomile.
There's the cilantro that we planted.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
finally growing.
Wonderful. So these are our cover crops, and the job of cover crops is to cover and replenish the soil after you have a really heavy feeding crop. We had tomatoes in here over the summer, and so we're putting some cover crops in to sort of rehabilitate the soil. I've got some more peas and some radishes right here. Here's the moringa, also sleeping right now. Pretty dormant, but moringa is a fantastic superfood that you can grow in your garden here in Southern California. Loves heat.
Yes.
Give it as much heat and sun as you can possibly give it. These are our pollinator boxes. So lots of lovely flowers to attract our beneficial insect friends. We're doing some more cover crops in these beds right now. They will grow quite rapidly. These ones are just getting started. And then here we are, our fruit trees.
Yes.
So this is an apple tree that we have right here. And this apple tree needs a haircut. So why don't you set that down? If anybody has any questions during the live stream, feel free to chime in. I have a little laptop right here where I can see everybody's questions if you have any questions for me. So
Yes.
but we're going to get out our pruning implements. Always make sure to wear gloves. You can cut yourself pretty easily when you're doing this, so wear gloves.
And also Alondra, she's here. She's going to be in the comments as well, just kind of seeing the questions and maybe giving us some questions as well. So,
All right.
yeah.
So, our two favorite tools that we're going to be using today, at least, because this isn't going to be too heavy of a pruning job. We don't really have to deal with many large branches. For the really small twigs, we're going to be using secateurs and just pruning shears. And for the larger ones, we'll be using the loppers.
Yes. This is our apple tree.
This is our apple tree. And normally, an apple tree will have lost all of its leaves long ago. But for some reason, this one has not. And I'm not sure why that is. But we've decided to hold off on pruning it until now. It's obviously not going to lose any more leaves. But generally speaking, with fruit trees in general, you want to prune them during the winter when their growth activity is either the slowest for your evergreen trees like the lime, or when they are dormant, such as deciduous trees like your apple trees. So basically, the objective of pruning is to get like a well-shaped tree. You just want to have a nice open canopy, and you don't want it to be too erect either like this. You want the branches to actually kind of like sort of hang out and form kind of an umbrella shape, because this will end up increasing your fruit yields. When you have branches that hang at an angle greater than 60 degrees, I believe, then it actually, in many trees, it'll cause a hormonal response that triggers flower formation. So we want to encourage the trees to branch out a bit more, but I think this time we could just give it a haircut. So there are 4 types of branches that you want to remove from a fruit tree: dead branches, diseased branches, deranged branches, dead, diseased, damaged, and deranged. Dead, diseased, damaged, and deranged branches. And deranged is like branches that are just crossing. And also you want to remove suckers. This is a sucker. You see how it's coming off of the base right here? You don't want that. So we're going to just use the loppers and there we go. Comes right off. And so these, if you have a wood chipper, bring your wood chipper, make mulch out of the branches, and put it around the fruit tree to sort of replenish the soil.
Chop and drop.
Yep, chop and drop is what we like to call it. Because, when you do this, you are taking nutrients out of the system here, and it's good to put them back. And that's kind of like my philosophy is if you're going to prune your fruit trees, then use what you prune as mulch. I've been doing this at my house with my lemon tree. These guys around here, this one's deranged. You see how it's sort of growing inward and crossing with that one. So we want to get rid of that. In fact, I would probably even, I might even want to get rid of both of these, because this is going to cross.
You said those are deranged?
Deranged. Deranged branches are branches that are growing crazy or are crossing with one another. So this is deranged as well. There are a bunch of other suckers down there. I'll go ahead and get the suckers first. There are a couple on the back side. We'll just get those out of here. This one is growing too low. We don't want that. That is big sucker right here. Ooh, I think palm frost fell down.
That's for any tree, right? If there's suckers at the bottom, you have to cut them off.
Most trees. It kind of depends on what you're growing, but take these off. And suckers can come right out of branches too. But it's also important to understand the 2 types of cuts that you make on a fruit tree. There are thinning cuts. So this is a thinning cut right here. When we have like a deranged branch, for example, we just cut it off where it's coming out of the larger branch. That's a thinning cut because we're thinning out the foliage. And then there's a heading cut. A heading cut is when, let's say, you wanted to branch out more. Let me find a good one to do a heading cut on. I want to do this one. Okay, so when we do a heading cut, what we'll do is we'll just pull this down, and we'll cut right above here where this is branching. That's a heading cut, where you kind of like cut it off. And so when you do that, it causes all of these shoots that are now coming out to want to be growing points. So you're going to get this whole branch just bushing out like that. And so if you want to make your tree bushier, that's how you do it.
Okay.
So we're going to keep thinning these out here. See any questions in the chat? No, not yet. I don't see anybody.
No, I don't see any questions yet, but did you explain why it's better to prune it in the winter?
Yeah, when the trees are dormant, it's less stressful for them.
Okay.
We'll take a lot of these out that are just kind of end up getting in the way. Yeah, see, we made some heading cuts up there. Someone did a while ago.
Yeah, this fruit tree gave us about 4 apples, 4 strong apples. So.
Yeah, our friend Ruben from Physical Plant Management thinks that this tree is really going to start bearing in a year or 2.
Okay, someone asked, can he repeat how to make trees bushier? Does this work also for plants?
Yeah, in general, it works for any plant. It's called a heading cut, and basically what you do is, I'll give another example, like right here. So what you're going to want to do is, I'll just use these.
So you kind of shorten it so that way it grows out more.
See how
right?
like you're cutting it off, straight, and so that's to make it bushier. When you make this kind of a cut just straight, it's called a heading cut.
So it can't be a slanted cut.
So this right here, this is your growing point, you know, this is your dominant growing point on this branch, and that wants to grow outwards. You know, the plant is sending a signal to this growing point to grow outwards, right? And when you cut that off, instead, that hormonal signal goes to all of the buds. So now all of those buds are going to start growing instead. And so that creates a bushiness. And this is like how, you know, you trim hedges with like, you know, one of those trimmers, and you just like sort of face off the entire thing. That has the same effect on a hedge and causes it to become bushier. And this works with pretty much any perennial plant that like grows like a bush or a tree. You know, I wouldn't really try this on vegetables, like annual vegetables. It doesn't really work that way for annual vegetables, but for trees and like perennials and bushes, yes. So we're gonna keep thinning this out a bit. This one. This one. Gone. You don't have to be too aggressive with it. You just want to get a nice. This can stick. That's gonna hurt. This one's crossing, so we want to take that out.
Something that we did to this apple tree, I'm just going to mention it while you're pruning it, is that we planted, what's the name of the lettuce again?
Oh, this stuff right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually happen to have a couple extra of these. This is called miner's lettuce. And so that's actually a California native leafy green. It's a very common growing underneath oak trees on north-facing slopes and sort of like in moister areas. It does very well here because it's native to California. So
yeah, it actually tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes delicious. It's like sort of like a mild spinach, and you can get seeds online. I know of a couple of vendors that sell these, both good vendors. So yeah, this is crossing right here, so we want to remove that. This is kind of weak. Yeah, and anything that looks weak or diseased, take it off.
Someone asked, what happens if you accidentally cut it too short?
You cut it too short? I mean, it will grow back, but, you know, it could stress the tree out. Okay. But it will grow back given time. You know, I suppose you could kill a fruit tree by pruning it too much, but...
Yeah, I was going to say there is like if you prune, there is a such thing as over pruning.
There is. You don't
and
want
that
to.
can
I have over pruned before. And like, see, for deciduous trees, you can be like an apple tree, could be a bit more aggressive, but like for evergreen trees, like a citrus tree, you have to be more careful. And I had to learn that the hard way last year. So
yeah.
Yeah. See, this is crossing. It's deranged because it's crossing. And this one, we just made a heading cut on this one, so this is going to branch out, and so we'll just take off this one.
Yeah. So crossing is when it's literally like crossing, like it looks like an X almost.
Yeah, the branches are crossing together. See this one too? We don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is if you have branches that are crossing, it can damage the fruit as they're developing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, this one. You see, you kind of have to use your judgment. I'll leave that one for now. We'll come back to it. Mm-hmm. This one can go. This one is deranged also because it's growing inwards towards the inside of the canopy. You don't want it because it will cross and it will cause problems. So you want to have an open canopy.
What tools are you using again?
These are pruning shears, or secateurs, some people call them. And these are loppers.
Okay.
You can also use like a pruning saw, and like for really big jobs, like I have a reciprocating saw. It's like a battery-powered saw, but you don't necessarily need that. Like, if you wanted to like cut this whole thing, yes, you need a reciprocating saw, or like a pruning saw, but you know, we're not making that aggressive of cuts today. See, this is crossing. See that?
Yeah. So he's just chopping and dropping.
Yeah, and
all of that turns
break all
into
these
mulch.
branches down into mulch, and mulch around the tree. And this is one way to do it. You know, it actually does have the effect of improving the soil underneath the tree. So this one, and we could just take off the whole thing. So this one can stay. This one I want to take. And this one is crossing. You kind of want to cut like really close to where the branch joins with like the main branch. And see, this right here is dead. This is dead right here. This one, so that has to come. You know, there are different ways to do it. You could start with all the dead-looking stuff, then take the deranged stuff out, and then go to shaping it. I like to start with the deranged stuff. See, this is deranged. Right in here. And this is also a sucker. It's coming straight out of the branch, you know, and you can tell it's coming from a mature branch. That's a sucker. So we're going to take that out. Yeah, these ones in here we can. You know what? I think it's good to leave the canopy a bit more open on the inside, so we'll take these out too. And it's good to like kind of work your way up a branch. I kind of have a habit of doing things as I see them, but like work your way up, you know? Like sort of go to the beginning and like try and figure out, okay, what should I take off, you know? Let's see, like, we're starting to see some crossing action here. I'm following the branch up. We're starting to see some crossing. So what's crossing here? It's this. So this is a weak branch that's coming from the center of the canopy, so we'll take it out. Also, make sure the equipment you're using is clean, because otherwise you can introduce disease. This one is all over the place. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, disease in trees is common.
Very
sometimes.
So this one is just all over the place. I'm tempted to take the whole thing off because it's not really contributing much to the tree. We have this one right here. This one's just going straight up. So I'll take that whole thing.
Just for a time check, it is 12:17.
12:17, that's fine. I'm not sure how long you want to go, but...
Well, I know you wanted to do the fig tree too.
Yeah, we can do the fig tree. Fig trees take a different approach. So that one's off now.
I always thought pruning trees was like the same for every tree, but
nope.
It's different.
There are like general groups of trees where you kind of use the same approach, like stone fruits, apples. You know, those are all your deciduous trees. Generally the same approach. And then in a minute we'll go over to the jujube that we pruned earlier in the season, because that is also a deciduous tree. You prune it in the same way as an apple. We'll see what it looks like, and it's been really nicely cleaned up. But this one's already looking quite a bit better.
I wonder when our passion fruit. This is passion fruit, right?
That is passion.
This is our passion fruit all along the side of the garden. What are some common tree diseases?
Common tree diseases? I've only really seen pests, not diseases, and mostly on the citrus trees. You will get scale on the citrus trees. It's very common.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with fruit tree pests and diseases, except for like scale and stuff like that. This is the range.
Scale is when, I know this because I've seen it on my trees, but it looks like a white film that's over the
Yeah, you can get
the
like
leaf.
mealybugs too, and psyllids and stuff like that. A lot of insect pests.
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen fungus too, actually.
yeah, and there are good fungi and bad fungi, so it's important to keep in mind. Like you want to have good fungi, and mostly in your soil, and also on the leaves. But see, I'm seeing this one from a different angle, and I can see that it's just weak. Let's take it off. Let's start pulling this one up now. And this one's crossing really badly, so that whole thing just should come off. And I'm not going to really be doing much heading cuts today. It's more going to be thinning cuts. Although we can do some heading cuts up there. This is crossing. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to keep. This is...
Again, heading cuts is when they like you shorten it, because see how these trees are growing really tall?
Yep, and thinning cuts just when you cut off branches. Seeing this potentially being an issue in here. We'll leave this one for now. They're kind of growing parallel to one another, so these are crossing. And this one's stronger, so I'm going to take this. And this one's further in the canopy. Like, if you want to have an open canopy, like, whatever branches you take out, have them be, like, further in the canopy. Favor the ones that are further out.
What do you mean by canopy?
The canopy of the tree, the area with the leaves and the branches, not as opposed to the trunk.
Okay.
The canopy is, like, this whole part of the tree. And you want, for fruit trees, it's good to have an open canopy. Let's see. This right here is you know, difficult. These are crossing, and it's like this one's really a judgment call of what you want to do. I'm trying to like figure out like because they're all coming from here. So we'll just take off the whole thing. And this one's crossing as well. I now see that. But there is a bud right here, so what we can do, if you want this to branch out and fill out in here, we can make a heading cut right here instead of cutting it all the way back and with a thinning cut, so we can do that. But we might need to cut that next year now. So we'll see how it grows. Like some of these things, like cut it and see what happens, you know? See how the tree grows, and you can always cut it back more next year.
That's true.
We keep following this one up.
So these are like little buds.
Yeah, these are crossing. So this is going This is going to cross right here.
Can you prune fruit trees when they're still in a pot?
Still in a pot? Yeah, I suppose so. I don't see why that's not a problem. I don't see why that would be a problem.
Yeah. I actually have fruit trees at home that are in a pot, and they're not yielding as much, I think, because they're in a pot, and a lot of trees just
Definitely
do better.
because they're in a pot.
Yeah, a lot of them do better when they're planted on the ground.
Some trees can tolerate being in pots, but their trees are really not meant to be in pots.
Yeah.
It's not where they're in their element. They're in their element when they're in the soil, and they can put down a big, deep root system.
Yes.
Kind of following this one here. It's actually quite a bit better back here. Did I find another sucker? I'm going to open this up in here. So, take that out. Okay, yeah, it's already starting to look good. I think we're getting to a good stopping point soon. This is a bit of a mess in here, so we're going to deal with that. Let's see now. Yeah, see, this is crossing right here. So we're starting to cross. So take off these ones. Yeah, this has got some nice structure in here, so we want to keep that. This is about to cross right here, so we'll take that out.
Are you almost ready to show the jujube?
The jujube, yes, we're just about ready. Finishing up with this. Ooh, I didn't see this. I didn't see this one that was crossing really bad. That was a sucker. So good I came around to this side and took a look. That one will leave. See, back here it's not that bad. There are some spots where it's like, and this one is just kind of crossing through, and it's kind of a little bit deranged. So I would take it off. I need to get the loppers. So I tend to be a bit more aggressive with my pruning than some people. Like this I would take, but it's ultimately at your discretion.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a tough one. Wow.
That was a big one.
That sure was. I think that's the biggest one we're going to need to take.
Okay.
I see some crossing going on in here, but it's mostly small branches. So, like, not in terms of what, how difficult it's going to be.
Okay.
Man, I should have brought my wood chipper today. What a shame. It's okay.
I'm excited to see the apples yielding
I hope
next
that these yield.
year, or this year.
So I'm not sure what apple variety is, and then, you know, when it comes to Southern California, it's really important you pick the right variety. Because you can end up with an apple variety that is not suited for our climate because it requires more chill hours. That is, it requires more time of cold temperatures in the winter than we get. So I'm not sure what kind of apple this is.
It's like a dwarf apple, I think.
This is weak. We're taking this off.
They were really small apples. And they were green.
Apples in Southern California oftentimes turn out something like coast of Southern California because we just don't get enough of those chill hours to make it out.
Yeah.
Um,
But our lime tree did really well. We got a lot of these. This is a Mexican lime tree.
the lime's done fantastic.
The limes and the kumquats and our Meyer lemons.
Like crazy. We've had so many kumquats.
Yes, a lot of kumquats.
Whenever I come here, I just like eating them.
Me
snacks.
too.
All right. I think
We're good.
we're good for now. I'll probably come in here and make some more heading cuts just to even it out at a later date. But for now, I think it's good. So let's take a look at the jujube tree. This is sort of get a sense of what a deciduous fruit tree will look like once it's finished.
There's a few more kumquats here we need to harvest for the food pantry.
It really deranged. So here's the jujube. See how we have a nice open canopy, no branches really crossing, and it just looks, you know, to leaf out really nicely. And this one I could even go a bit more because there are some places right here.
Yes, jujubes, you have to be very careful when you're pruning because it's very sharp.
And the thorns will cut you so easily.
See,
it's like, you think
there's
rose
a lot
are
of
bad?
thorns.
Like, it's got nothing on jujube.
Jujubes is like a Japanese.
It's from Asia.
It's an Asian. It looks like a little apple, kind of. It's actually really good.
They taste like an apple too, but they're really good. I like them. Some people don't like them, but I like them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is one that's already been pruned. It might need a little bit more work, but for the most part, it's good. Okay. I'll come back and like another time and then notice like, oh, I should prune this back more. But let's go over to the fig trees. So fig trees, you don't really prune that much at all. Like fig trees are best. Here's a system. Not sure if you can see, but we've got the picture here. This is why I was originally brought onto the team because I know how to do this. So
this is our aquaponics.
We'll do some aquaponics related content in the future on the live streams. If there's any interest in that, just post in the comments that you'd like to see that. So.
Oh, Michelle said that they are dates. I guess
dates.
The jujubes.
They look like dates, but they're not dates. Dates grow on palm trees.
Okay.
So fig trees, yeah, these are dormant for the most part. And with fig trees, when they produce fruit, like some of the fruit will be on the old growth and some will be on the new growth. So you get 2 crops per year usually. So that means, you don't want to prune them as much, and they don't tend to branch out as much. You don't really prune fig trees that much. But this one is getting in the way of the compost, and that one over there is just totally out of control. So we need to get these trees under control. And so I just want to make sure that this is acceptable. I'm probably going to cut this one. And there are some dead branches on here that should be cut as well. So big trees have very soft wood. So very easy to cut. Thinking.
Yeah.
Because if I could do like I could do a heading cut around here somewhere.
It's good practice to wait for all the leaves to fall off.
Yeah.
Or most of them.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna cut this right here so we can, because this whole thing needs to come off. And with fig trees, it's actually very easy to take cuttings. Like this cutting that I'm taking, I'm pretty sure you could just root it.
Oh, really? Cuttings is like very common with growing food. There's a lot of different plants and trees that you can cut off a portion and then either place it in water or place it in soil, and it'll hopefully root and you can grow it.
These branches in there. This,
It looks like fig trees don't really have crossing, huh?
They don't as much. They can. That one has a lot of suckers. That one's a ton. Yeah, so this is definitely, in my opinion, in the way. So I actually kind of want to. You know what I'm gonna do? So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a heading cut right here. It's gonna branch out, and then I'm gonna favor the branches that go that way, like sort of towards the back. So I'll make a heading cut right here.
So this is mainly for shaping purposes.
Yeah, this is for shaping purposes
because we have our compost bin over here, so it's kind of getting in the way.
Yep. And this one right here is dead, so I'll just make a heading cut right here. Okay, yeah, didn't need to do much on this one, so I think that's good for now. This one, on the other hand, this is a mess.
Yes, this one is a little wild.
So I'm just going to start with getting the suckers out. This one has so many suckers.
Yes, this fig tree is a lot bigger.
When you take out suckers, you want to try and get as close to the source as possible. Some of these suckers you could probably root as well. Get this one out. And fig trees, you can prune them really heavily. I've seen them cut back really aggressively. So this is also a sucker.
If you can see, we also planted some miner's lettuce.
Yeah, it's starting
there.
to flower. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it go to seed. And then let it sort of proliferate around the base of the fruit trees, because it likes to grow under trees. And it doesn't disturb the trees at all. So it's good to grow things with your trees. You don't necessarily have to have your trees by themselves, you know. And see, these are all suckers in here. I'm going to take these off, because we don't want them coming out too low on the tree, because then it'll create, these will eventually, become deranged again and create accessibility issues.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's going all the way down. So I'm gonna even take off these branches right here. And then, so, oh no, what did I do to the miner's lettuce? Oh no, I pulled it out.
Oh,
Poor
okay.
miner's lettuce.
We can eat that, or you can replant it.
I have more seeds, so I'll just put it back in here. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has really delicate roots, so you have to be very careful with it. I'll just start by, I need to get in here, so I'm going to take these out. Yeah, see how the branch is like snapping instead of being cut? That's your indication that you need a pruning saw. Unfortunately, we don't have that, I don't think, do we?
Have a what?
A pruning saw? I haven't seen one here.
No, I don't think we do. But, yeah, that one was a big one.
I'm going to get a lot of cuttings out of this and plant more trees, so.
all of the dry leaves that fall to the ground, that gives that acts as like a mulch, and also it helps, does it give like biodiversity to the soil?
It'll encourage beneficial fungi.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go, beneficial fungi.
like decomposes that will return the nutrients to the soil. So this is all.
Oh, this is also another. Those are all suckers coming out.
Yep, these are all suckers. Tons of them. I don't even know how this one got all over here. Fig trees can get really wild. Oh, wow. I thought I got that one. I guess I did not.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
I know, that one's a big one.
Okay. This is also pretty weak. Also, with fig trees, they produce latex, and it'll make you itchy if it gets on your skin. So just be wary of that.
Oh, even the bark?
Yeah,
or
see this right here?
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So that'll make you itchy.
yeah, it's actually the substance that rubber is made from. It comes from fig trees. Not this kind, but it does come from fig trees.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, different species. This root doesn't seem very good either.
Dr. Businessline said we can purchase, I think the saw.
Oh, she did? Great, we'll get
Thank you.
That's good to have for bigger branches, but this root system on this fig tree is just not good for some reason. I just noticed that.
Maybe because it's against the wall closely?
It could just be weak, you know?
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure. You know, this
Well,
tree did produce.
We just added some worm tea.
Now, worm tea,
maybe we can do that one of the lives, is show you guys how to make worm tea.
Worm/compost tea. Worm tea is just compost tea made from worm castings.
Yes.
See, these ones are inner paths, so we're taking them out.
Is that one? It's because it's crossing?
It's in our path.
Oh, yeah.
Crossing. So these ones that are just like in our way, we don't need to have those. Then what I'm gonna do. See, this is great.
Say cut this one.
Cut this one.
I'm learning how to prune.
See, now we're encouraging that to grow back, and not like in our way.
Yeah.
See, this doesn't help that. But we would like that. This is just like, you know, not healthy. So why not just take that off? I've never pruned a fig tree before, so I could be messing this one up, but I've seen them get pruned pretty aggressively, so I think we're all good. Yeah, this one's also in the way. So we'll this
fig tree is pretty mature, I think.
Yeah, but like I'm just surprised by like how much it's wobbling in the ground. I'm not sure if that's normal for fig trees. Yeah, and then we'll.
Wow, we have a lot more space now.
Oh yeah. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a heading cut right here. See, the latex got on me, and I'm like itching like crazy now. We're gonna make a heading cut right there. You see how we have that little branch right there?
Yeah.
These are gonna become the main branches now.
Okay.
Same thing right here. Heading cut. Back up, please. What did I do with the shoes? It would be helpful.
The red ones? They're right there.
Okay. Oh, there
They're
it
near
is.
your foot.
Yeah, mostly small branches now. I think we're just about done here. Not really need to do much else. Yeah, this one's good.
There's one small fig up there.
One small fig.
Can eat that.
And this, we could just keep that.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that's diseased up there. So I think we're good. All right, well, we're done pruning fruit trees.
Yes.
So maybe we should open up the floor to some additional questions.
Yeah, are there any more questions about anything regarding pruning, or I don't know, or if you have a question about the garden in general? We're kind of like in a transition season. We're just mainly getting like the beds ready for what we're going to be planting in the spring, which we'll be keeping you guys updated on that.
Yes, there's much work to do. We are currently developing a master plan to be implemented in the spring, and this garden is going to become very beautiful. So
yes, excited to grow a lot of food here. And also, I wanted to mention, the Season Food Pantry, they're open Monday through Thursday, and they post their hours on Instagram every week. And I harvest some of the stuff that we have growing here and take it over there. So they have a lot of like canned goods and non-perishables, and then we also take some herbs and whatever we have in abundance here, we take it over to the Season Food Pantry. So you can go visit them and pick up some of the stuff that we have. Also, we have the Ask a Master Gardener, it's found on our website, right?
Yep.
Yes. So if you have questions like about your personal garden and you want to get like a more precise answer, and like have someone who knows a lot about gardening answer those questions for you, you can go ahead and use that feature. And Alondra, is it only through our website, or is it can they also find links somewhere else?
It is through our website.
Okay, I think yes, mainly through our website. Ask a Master Gardener. And yeah, thank you guys for joining our live today.
Thank you.
Yes.
Join us again next week. We might be changing the time a little bit to better accommodate everybody's schedule.
Yes.
It'll be around the same time on Thursday.
Yes.
Join us again.
Okay, yes, Alondra, you can put a link in there, and we'll be doing this every week and coming up with like different topics to focus on. Today was just pruning because that's what needed to be done in the garden, and thought it would be helpful for you guys who have trees to learn kind of specific tips on pruning different kinds of trees. So, okay, should I cut the branches from the lemon trees that have thorns?
I mean, yeah, you can prune them.
Prune them.
With citrus trees, you want to be more conservative.
Okay.
So
I was gonna show an example of the Meyer lemon tree.
All of these citrus trees right here have already been pruned this season.
Yes.
And the lemon tree in the middle was the one that I over pruned. You can see how much thinner it is. You don't want that. It created a lot of deranged foliage when I did that.
Yes, this has already been pruned.
But you see how much denser the kumquat and the limes are? You want them to be denser. I'm still learning a bit how to prune citrus trees. It's less straightforward than deciduous trees, but you know, you want to definitely be a bit more careful with citrus.
Yes. Yes, it's a lot of crossing with citrus trees. So
it's not as bad for citrus trees across too.
So I guess the question is yes, Silva. You should cut branches from lemon trees that have thorns, but just make sure to not over prune it.
Oh, the branches that have thorns like on the lemon trees? Oh, I think I see what the commenter is saying now. Some lemon trees just have thorns. It's just how they grow.
Okay.
Just prune them how you would any other citrus tree. If there's a branch that's in the way, it's fine. I would recommend doing it during the winter when the trees are dormant. So now, they're like the all of the citrus trees are really just starting to grow more now because they slow down a bit in the winter. So
Yeah, I just realized that it's starting to flower.
yeah, we're starting to get some flowers. I'll take this.
That's exciting.
Yep, there we go.
There's a few branches with the thorns.
Yeah, see, this one's thorny. You can see those thorns. All right. Sounds good.
Yes, thank you for
Thank you.
joining. We will
There we
see
go.
you next week.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good week.